What up, y'all? Back for another audio occasion, the podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation.
Yes, sir.
EFS podcast is back in here, and we're going to open it up with our audio for the day, so come along with us. Let's go.
As black men, we will say we don't feel like we can be on our authentic selves because then we get attacked. So I can't show weakness because I don't want to be a mark. I can't show sadness because I'm supposed to be able to handle everything for everybody else. I can't show a level of anxiety and too much stress because then the people around me are going to get stressed out, and then what they going to do. But what's crazy for us is we can't even show good stuff. There are black men in here that know I can't be too happy because this fool gonna think I'm goofy. Yeah. I can't show that I'm in love because then they gonna think I'm crazy and somebody gonna take me. I can't be overly excited because I gotta act like I've been there before. So when you're suppressing both negative feelings and positive feelings, we have actually said that to be a black man, you gotta be stoic and humanless. And then we get mad when the world treats us inhumanely. And so this is not about us changing the narrative about who black men are. Black men who know black men know that black men are not that. We have to give ourselves permission to be it.
Let that sink in on the way in.
Interesting.
Definitely interesting talk on that one. Found it to be that one stuck to the ribs, pause, as I watched that a little earlier this week. So I got to give it to y'all, you know. But just like that, as we get this theme music rocking, we got 1 air horn, 2 air horns, 3 air horns, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As we keep this thing rolling.
Get them up.
Pick the energy up out here. It's 2025. And we are back for another episode. It is the EFS podcast, episode number 46. Getting a little bit closer to 50, a little bit closer to 100, a little bit closer to 200 as we keep this thing rocking. I am your host, D. Burke, the man, the myth, the legend from the EFS brand himself, the biggest brand that you don't know about yet. Here to represent for another pod. We got my distinguished cast, the homies to the right. We got Drew Fault, the Philly special in the house. And then we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Waldo Blizzy.
Just the guy, man.
There he is.
Just the guy, man.
And as we get this thing going, if you've made it to the audio/visual occasion, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love the love over here at the EFS podcast, and we're here to get to it today. Had to pick my energy up a little bit. I came in a little bit spicy, as they would say out there in the streets, but I'm good now. You know, a little pre-pod got me right. Check that out on Spotify. Check that out on Apple Podcasts if you do. YouTube. We here, man. What's the vibes? We're going to get this theme music turned down, and we'll get to it. How's everybody doing today? New Year's, new you, all that other good shit. How we doing? How we feeling?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, man.
I ain't officially said it to y'all. That's crazy.
I know. That's why I was like, let me start
Happy
off.
New Year, man. We're going to open it up with that. Made it another 365. Another year of life to live, enjoy, grow, all that other good shit, man. You, and you out there. If you made it this far, you alive, you breathing. It's a blessing to be on this earth for as long as we got the ride on this big floating rock. But yeah, man, check in. How y'all doing? How's everybody feeling, man?
You know what? I am, I'm good. The word I would usually use is moderate. Not bad. I'm not good. I'm just like, I'm in the middle. I'm just like, I'm warm water right there. Like, it's not hot, not cold, just a good temp. I can wash my clothes and not worry about them shrinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a good space. You know what I'm saying?
Word. I can dig it. Drew, how you doing, my boy? Philly Special came out with the big Iverson, the football jersey.
Football jersey.
Niggas ain't got that right there.
Circa 2003.
They ain't got right there.
Dusted off from the attic. Found us in the attic.
He taking his Philly Special thing to the max.
Yeah, trying to rep for the Eagles and Sixers.
To the max C, if you really going to get
funny.
funny.
You know, the real icon of the Sixers.
To the max C.
To the max C.
We've been the franchise right there.
That's what I'm saying. We've been off that 21 guy, so we got to remind them who the real icon is of my generation, at least.
Listen, man.
But no, I'm doing good.
You could never carry the city
could
like
never
that.
wear a football jersey or could never what?
Both. Definitely couldn't play football.
Them knees.
One shot.
It's over. As fragile as he is.
Big time.
His career would have been done.
Is it safe to say that as a big man, Dikembe Mutombo was better than Joel Embiid?
No.
Nah, we ain't gonna get crazy.
Nah.
Oh, okay. I mean, just saying, like,
We ain't get crazy.
he played more games,
More
was
durable.
healthy.
We'll leave it-
Defensively,
more
I would say
durable.
he's a more active and willing defender than Joel
Yeah.
Embiid is. But
Yeah.
offensively, talent-wise, nah, it don't
Yeah.
add up.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
But at least he's there.
durability, yeah.
At least
He
he
wins
was
that
there,
award.
Yeah.
See, this is the effect of having me on the pod. We can't go 30 seconds in without coming at Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I know,
That's where
right?
we
I
at.
know. That's my fault. I shouldn't.
Anytime we bring up anything
Nah, man.
Sixers,
questions
fuck
like
Embiid.
that.
This is the
At this
first thing.
point, it feels like that. But no, I'm doing good. I told you we got.
Wait, who did y'all lose to the other day? That was just a badass loss.
Yeah, they got
we got
Jazz?
we got destroyed by the Warriors.
Yeah,
Steph Curry going 8
decimated.
for
Oh, yeah,
8
yeah,
from
yeah,
3.
yeah,
decimated by the.
That was-
That's a Steph
that
game.
was
though.
colossal.
That was a Steph game.
After I went to sleep, we
Steph.
blew a 9-point lead to the Kings with 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one, the Kings.
Okay,
The
I
Kings.
didn't watch. I watched some of
The
it and
Kings.
I fell asleep because the 5 a.m.
Yeah,
shift.
yeah. That's
But-
an early wake up.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Other than that, I'm fine. Like I'm not letting the Sixers get to me. I'm riding the Eagles high right now.
Eagles is riding
Told
high.
you we got a little bit of bread on the line for this fantasy football. So starting the year off, hopefully that championship, which will
Best of
lead
luck,
to
man.
the Eagles. I don't even want to talk about some other championships I got brewing. So I'm good. I'm feeling real good this year.
I can dig it, man. I
Yeah.
can dig that for sure. For sure.
What about you, brother? How you doing?
Yeah,
I told you I was on hots when I came in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And say,
Personal shit aside, we hit a pod, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the most out of the situation. We'll deal with everything we got to deal with outside of here. But that's
Right.
just that, man.
most
That's
definitely.
just
very,
that.
very mature, very mindful.
Yeah, man. You know, emotionally intelligent is what they call it. I take
That's
pride
awesome,
for
man.
definitely being someone who's a lot more of that than not, and we deal with everything we need to outside.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Outside. All respect to everyone.
Right. For those willing to make the most of any situation.
Involved.
Yeah, way to pull it in there.
There we go.
Yeah. But out the gate, we got to give big love because the first topic on the board, I'm very happy and appreciative to see someone getting their flowers. Shouts to D Rose, man. 1-4-25 was D Rose Day out in the Chi-Town, and he received that outpouring of love from the city.
Facts.
Very dope to see that, man. And I know, I guess, as far as the success as far as rings and all that stuff goes, D Rose might have not had the best career overall, but I do think that he played a very pivotal role in the league at that point, and created, not for nothing, and we talk about Steph a lot in this podcast, but I don't think D Rose gets enough respect for his impact on the game and the kind of players that he birthed to come behind him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Steph birthed a lot of people who just shoot a lot of threes, and that's their game. And no knock to Steph. Great, legendary. Some people's top 5, some people's top 10. Whatever number you want to put him at, we understand that man has cemented himself in basketball royalty. I do think that D Rose, even before Steph got cooking and Steph got into his real shit to where he became a great, great player, D Rose was great out the gate in Chi-Town. And he created, him and Russell Westbrook, I think both of those two gentlemen created a different style of point guard.
Yeah, athleticism.
From thereafter.
For sure. That's the two I was going to say, that the athleticism was just off the charts, and you see it in people now like Ja Morant. It's probably like the best example right now. But
between him and Steph, the point guard position has completely changed, you know, from what it used to be to what it is. I think the last true point guard that was like was really stuck in the game for a long time was probably Chris Paul. Outside of that,
he's still in there.
Yeah, and he's still there, But after Chris Paul, like that next generation, the D Roses, the Russell Westbrook, to then the Stephs, and then everybody from there, the Damian Lillards, like all of those people, like they transitioned what a point guard used to look from what would look like from a floor general perspective to where these dudes is like scoring the ball at a high clip. Still assisting and doing what they need to do on the facilitation side of things, but the point guards is the scorers now,
scoring on the ball, because even Iverson was more off the ball, like after a while.
Yeah,
he was more off the ball.
A lot of Iverson cuts, a lot of
wing.
screens to get him open, get him moving, get him downhill, get him in space. But and I'd say AI didn't bring the ball up because he did a lot.
He did sometimes, but like in transition for sure. But half court sets more often than not, it was Eric Snow.
Yeah, Eric Snow and AI. We really had that conversation. What is he a 1? Is he a 2?
Well, that's why he got moved to the 2 at the time because he was such a dynamic scorer. They're like, because like you said, the point guard, the point guard at the time was the Andre Millers, like the floor generals,
Chauncey
and all that.
Billups,
exactly, dissecting the game.
Honorable mention Rondo too.
Rondo.
Oh yeah, Rondo.
Rondo's another one.
Legend
sure.
from a true point guard perspective.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, for sure. Definitely can't sleep on Rondo. And anybody else we forgetting, like, you know,
it's
we can
tons
only,
of
we sitting here talking shit. So if we forgot about you, then we sorry.
Darren Williams, all them.
Yeah, we can keep going, but still, D Rose. The original point was D Rose kind of changed the game from a point guard perspective to where your point guard started like dunking on niggas on fast breaks. Like I'll never forget I was watching the game when he dunked on Goran Dragic on the fast break. I'm like,
2 hands.
Like 2 hands.
He did something like that in high school too.
Oh yeah.
Like windmilled on somebody's head
D-roll
on a break.
high school mixtape is nasty.
Crazy.
Like nasty.
That was one of the first like mixtapes I started seeing because that was when I like got to high school. Like during that time.
Exactly.
You were seeing him, OJ, Reek, Tyreek Evans, Mike Beasley.
Facts.
Like those were some good mixtapes, but Derrick Rose's was one of one.
D Rose is a dog in high school. Out there,
John Morant fall under the D Rose class?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like direct fruit from the D Rose tree.
It's probably the epitome of it more than anybody.
So I'm thinking like nowadays, who else would be that D Rose class? Well, not class, but you know what I'm saying? Like
D Rose type of player. I mean, Westbrook is still Westbrooking. They, you know, they was kind of 1 and 2 and leading the charge on that. There's John Morant.
Yeah.
There's
not a lot of them.
De'Aaron Fox kind of.
I was gonna say De'Aaron Fox can do that.
Tree.
Freaking. I feel like no, he's more.
Maxey can have his moments. He can shoot too, but Maxey will have moments where he blows right by you. And lately he's been a little bouncy too, not to the extent of D Rose.
Or John.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why it's hard to find someone in that class for real.
There's not many of them.
Speed was a big thing for D Rose, but
explosion
as far as vertical jump and getting up to the rim, whether for a floater, a finish on the backboard, or I'm just straight dunking on your ass, like
the one he had on Joel Anthony, where he a 6'3" guard spin move in the paint, goes up with 2 hands off 2 feet and bang,
boom,
and one, like 6'3" on with shoes on. Let's be real.
Facts, nah.
Probably 6'2", 6'1".
You're not the super
regular.
tallest guy from a league perspective. 6'3" regular people is different, but in the league, 6'3" ain't like, you know, you're not towering.
One of the smaller players, for sure.
Yeah, so it's definitely good, man. See him getting that love, you know. And I know the thing I like about it is not to say that, you know, well, we know he's an emotional guy, so not to say emotional in a bad way was what I was
not
saying,
at all.
but like, you know, just him to have that calm as demeanor.
Yeah.
But anytime something that gets presented to him
in a negative way,
either negative or positive, like when he got traded from Chicago, the way he took that shit, like that shit broke his heart. You know what I'm saying, just to be a shining light for the city and everybody in Chicago get behind him, and Chicago like my second home, like, you know, and y'all know that already, but being out there, seeing even just when I was in college, you know, D Rose is still, you know, like the man in the city and the man in that town. So I think that seeing that transition to where his career kind of went left a little bit with all the injuries and stuff, but still having that impact in the city was like, you know, something dope to see. And it's really good to see, like, in his, you know, retirement, just recently retired. We spoke about him on his podcast when he announced, you know, in the way he went about, I guess, sending the roses and all out to people, like super classy, super dope, like super thoughtful, and just in general, just like he's a G, like he's a G.
Most def.
Just from a league perspective, and I don't know him personally, so I can't really speak to his character at the core, but I don't really hear much like negative about D Rose as far as the person he is.
I've never heard anything negatively said about
you can knock his game, say he wasn't the best 3-point shooter. You can knock whatever, like he wasn't durable, is it like? But you know, as a person, to his core, I never heard too many negative things about D Rose.
And they say 1 of 1, right?
Big time. Still the youngest MVP, and
facts.
I think I know they had some serviceable players at the time. They had Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon, but I'm pretty sure he was the one who got them to the. He got them to the playoffs for the first time since MJ, if I'm not mistaken, because they were horrendous.
It was bad
for a while. Like the Marcus Pfizer, Eddie Curry era, terrible.
And then when they got
Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon, they started to get some momentum, and then D Rose kind of took them over the top,
took the reins.
And then not only that, like I always appreciate I'm glad Chicago did it, especially just because you know it's his hometown. He's from there. He got drafted, but he got the youngest MVP award for y'all, and we all know what he could have been if he didn't get injured. That's no denying that.
Yeah, no.
And for him to do I don't know if you know, but he rocks 25 on some teams. That's for Ben Wilson from Chicago, Benji. I don't know if you know the story about Benji Wilson.
No.
But he rocks the 25 for Benji. That was like a thing at Simeon.
I ain't never heard that story. So I'm surprised I ain't never heard that story from as many people as I know that know D Rose.
Anytime he wasn't 1 and he was 25, he was paying homage to Benji, who's from Chicago, and you know his story about being murdered as the number 1 player as a senior.
Yeah.
So I always felt like he always paid homage to Chicago, and it's cool to see it come full circle because
held the town down.
Yeah, exactly. Always like paying homage and like I always say, being loyal to the soil, and to see Chicago retire it, I know it meant so much for him. And not only that, I appreciate the vulnerability from him too, like just being that open. And you know, you can't hide your emotions, of course, but I love the vulnerability of him because it shows like how important it is and how much it means and stuff, and it keeps the fans like that's why we do it as fans. You know what I mean?
For sure. For the people like D Rose, like
Most
people
definitely.
who really give their heart and soul to this shit, and
Most definitely.
you know, no matter what happens, if your body starts failing you, like you really just try to pick yourself up and keep going until you literally are like, listen, I've given everything I can, so now it's time to give to my family, give to my children. It's dope to see the relationship that he has with his son, like how he talks to him, like, you know, the way he speaks about talking to his son, and then interactions I've seen with his son is like, it's really refreshing to see that, you know, from Black like fatherhood, you know.
Come on now.
And it's just trying to guide his son on the right path. And it's not to say he's the only one, but you know, we're speaking about him right now, so I got to give him his flowers in a moment to say that like he's doing a lot of things just the right way from my perspective, you know, in his post athletic career, and just the things he's getting into, like open a flower shop in the city, like, you know, like nothing but praise for D Rose on this podcast at this point, man. Like I really wish you the best in all your ventures to come. You know, shouts to the jersey retirement, shouts to just everything you got going on. You know, as a person who's watched you coming up myself as a basketball player and see what you did in the game, like it was amazing to see. So from us here at the EFS podcast, we got one more round of applause for the Chicago legend.
Thanks for the memories.
Derrick Rose, facts. Thanks for the memories. And shouts to him because he was a Knick for a little bit, you know, when he left the Chicago Bulls. He came to the Knicks. I thought he was going to, you know, revitalize and rejuvenate his career.
Definitely did.
Yeah, that was with the Wolves. The Wolves. He left the Knicks and went to the Wolves and had the 50-pointer.
He was in the runners for 6 man now with the Knicks for a year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, played well off the bench for us, like, you know, did
him and Tibbs,
good things in the city. So, you know, no shade to what he did even after he left Chicago, but, you know, shouts to him.
Productive.
You know?
Most definitely.
I wonder what he's going to do. I know obviously the flower shop is there. What is he going to do now after? You know, I think
sky's the limit, man.
I would love to have him on commentary somewhere, doing something like that.
Yeah,
providing like analysis and
he would make a very interesting podcast for sure. Just because
I was going to say something like that more so rather than commentating. Just because commentating, you got to be a little
charismatic.
Your personality has to be a lot more like,
bubbly,
you know, and not that anything's wrong with Derrick Rose's personality, but I don't know if I see him in that role just because I'm more of that like stoic individual myself, and I know it takes a lot.
It would feel forced.
You know, if we on the like 4-3 and all other shit, like
no, not that way. Yeah, you're right. But I'm talking about analysis. I'm talking about like the people breaking down the game, like
even
that inside the NBA and things like that. I think he could do that. I think he could be a good person to break down the game.
True, but are they going to hire him for that is the thing? Because you know them networks, they really buy into the like
even hearing some of them
personality.
on there, because I know somebody who was coaching who's now doing commentary, and I didn't know he was doing commentary until the other day, and I heard him, and I was like, dang, this sounds like really natural for me. And I didn't realize he was that bubbly. And even people like Vince Carter, Vince Carter even sounds like super bubbly, and I'm like, I know damn well Vince was not dunking on people's heads, sounding like, get up with me.
Like Vince is a nice guy, though,
different
man.
time, man. You use different tapping into different parts of yourself, man.
Yeah, nah.
It is a different type of charisma though that you have to present though to be in that
that's
kind of
what
role.
I'm saying. I see more like, you know, him doing his own thing, like potentially a show up. I think he might have mentioned on 520 shit when he was on there that he might have some stuff in the pipeline like that.
Yeah,
I could be remembering incorrectly, but. You know,
if you want to come on the EFS pod, you know,
come
on over.
There's space for you on the couch right here.
Come on over, bro. We got
space
you coming.
for you on the couch right here.
Coming in, doing a couple of episodes with us. See,
we go through the moon.
You say no, right? The only thing you can do is say no. That's the worst thing that can happen. Like, I mean, he might say yeah. He might just
somebody
pull up
at some point. You know,
he might just pull up.
Hey man, we put it out there. D Rose,
you've had some big guests on here.
Pull up.
You're more than welcome, man. To pull up to the EFS pod, but moving forward, we will get into another person who's in the NBA family.
And that you have a connection with, too.
Yeah. I wouldn't say so much right now, but, you know, historically, you know, we played for the same university. So, yeah, we do have experiences together as people. But we speaking about Jimmy Butler, not so positive in the news right now.
What's your take,
he's doing. Take on what specifically?
The whole 9 yards. Actually, give a proffer first. Then we can, because we want to talk about.
Jimmy Butler has requested a trade from the Miami Heat. Him and Pat Riley's relationship has been strained to put it lightly. And right now he's in a position to where he's waiting to find a different team. He did the interview the other day. saying he basically can't get his joy back playing for the Miami Heat. He just wants to get his joy back. And says he can't do it there. To then being suspended from the team now for 7 games while they are trying to find his next destination as far as who they want to trade him to. Right before I came to pod, they said they're taking their time. They put out something that said they don't like the offers they're getting for him.
Yeah.
Because I think what Jimmy has done is like he put them in a position to where whoever is going to trade for him is going to try to give them the lowest level
pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, because he only wants out.
They're trying to trade Jimmy for a fucking Apple cart or some shit like that.
Applebee's.
So whatever, but he ain't in the best position right now. There's a lot of different takes on it that I've seen floating around. My perspective, it goes multifold for me with Jimmy, just because we played together and we have that relationship at Marquette. To now seeing his career take off the way that it has, I wish Jimmy nothing but the best. But, from my perspective, Jimmy does have some things internally with him that I think affect his basketball career, And that's putting it as light as I can just because, Jimmy's story is kind of no secret. With the whole upbringing and him being in foster care and then, reconnected with his family, his dad and all that stuff. So his story is out there. So it's not like, that's common. It is common knowledge for a lot of people, at least in the basketball circles with him. But my perspective is that Jimmy, may have some healing to do in general,
Interesting.
As a person, and as a person.
Yeah.
And I ain't going to put too much on here, but I would say that even when I was at Marquette with Jimmy, me and him had a falling out while we was there over a situation that I'm going to keep close to the chest,
Okay.
Because, I ain't here to bash Jimmy. I ain't here to do any of that just because, I do genuinely wish him the best as a person. We blood, sweat, and tears for Marquette University. And, we tried to put on for our school in a big way. And, end of the day, that's family, Marquette family, even if we ain't close right now at this point, because he's gone his way, I've gone mine in a bunch of different, avenues and lanes of life. After we both graduated, after he was drafted and I was already overseas because I was a senior when he was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So early in my professional career, we did still connect a lot. I seen him in Chicago. We went out to kick it, that kind of stuff, But ever since then, he got really, really famous and really, really busy. And, my life went a different turn, Not to say that we wasn't, close at that point anyway, because I think our relationship had a little bit of a strain towards the end of my senior year because we kind of fell out over some shit again. And I'm going to keep close to chest. But, from there, it just started to seem like, for me, Jimmy overachieved as a basketball player because nobody was really expecting him to be perennial all-star, you're one of the best players in the league, potentially, that kind of guy. And I think that with that comes different things. But if you're not internally in a good space, then we start to see some of the things that, we might have seen with Jimmy so far.
Interesting.
So my perspective is he may have some healing to do. We do know he just lost his father.
Yep.
So I think that can
really
be
difficult.
A big, huge loss that he's going through right now while still trying to manage being in the spotlight, and that's tough. So I'm going to give him 100% grace and just time with that because it takes time to grieve and really process all your feelings when you lose the person who was one of the people responsible for bringing you in this world. So I do think that may have a lot to do with him missing his joy right now.
That's good. That could be a layer.
But I do think keeping things in full perspective is also important when you are an athlete, a basketball player, and especially a player of that magnitude.
Yep.
And a player who's in the twilight of his career as well.
Most definitely.
Because they'll get your ass out the league quickly if they
want to.
Right. If you piss off the wrong people, they'll find a way to get your ass out the league.
Mm-hmm.
So if your goal is to still play basketball, then to me, some of the things he does can only last so long without the powers that be being all right, you the whole Jay-Z still a nigga, they gonna treat you like that because they not fucking with you at this point,
But if I could segue off that,
sure.
I just feel like sometimes, man, I gotta look at the full picture of the scenario.
No doubt, you free.
I feel like the Miami Heat didn't do themselves no favors here.
In what aspect?
They didn't offer him an extension of his contract.
Okay.
I feel like the dynamic of the relationship between Pat Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, Pat Riley's a 79-year-old stubborn white guy.
For sure.
And he doesn't care to extend the olive branch. You got to either come to him. He wants to be, quote unquote, the alpha in every situation.
No, it's Pat Riley's team.
That's his mentality.
Organization.
It's right, organizationally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's his mentality. And if you buck, he wants to make an example out of you, which to me makes me feel it's just it's a bad taste in my mouth. I'll just say that. In the dynamic of ownership and athlete and sports and what it represents and means to be the owner of a team, which means that you technically are the owner of the players' contracts.
Sure.
It's just a lot of dynamics that I always look at this whole thing and I go, he doesn't care about you as a human being, which I do think that when you have something like that, when you have a loss in your life and you go to your job and you feel like the people there don't care about you as a human, you don't matter to them unless you are going to play the ball and shut up and dribble. I can understand why Jimmy's like, oh, this is how y'all gonna treat me? Fine. Get me out of here. I don't want to be here because you don't even care about who I am and what I'm dealing with. You only care about, am I going to put the ball in the hoop at the time you want me to put it in there? And if I don't do that, you're going to try to, sandbag me, suspend me, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there isn't layers where Jimmy could have handled himself differently. There's accountability on both ends, but I feel like Miami, the Heat organization, isn't in the interest of looking out for the human side of their player in this, especially when he's a franchise player, took you to the finals 2 times. He's done a great deal of effort he hasn't been slouching. He hasn't been doing his job.
That's fair.
But it's like literally like going to work every single day, being a top performer and doing everything you're supposed to do. And they say, we're not gonna give you a raise this year. And we just heard about your situation in your life. And we ain't gonna send no car, no nothing to you. We don't care. Just let me know when you come in back to work. That's what it feels like from my perspective. I'm just looking at outside looking at.
Yeah, I'm in
I got a response to that, but I'll let you talk. Go ahead, Drew.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm kind of like a mixture of both. I think obviously as someone who has lost their dad, it changes you a lot. It changes you a lot in different ways. It makes you question a lot of stuff about yourself as a man. And like you said, especially like growing up, in foster, like you don't have that like foundation relationship initially. So when you start to build it later,
it hurts.
It is difficult. And I had I wasn't in foster care, but I had a similar issue with my father being hospitalized so much to where I didn't have a relationship the way that I wanted to. And when he passed, it was hard because he was in decent health to where he was like coherent and I could talk to him. So it was hard. So I think that definitely plays a role for sure. But I also think too, like, you got like 2 alphas like Pat Riley and him that are very strong-minded, stuck in their ways, and it's great when y'all are on the same page, but when you're not on the same page is when it can become colossal. And I think, like, I don't know Jimmy Butler at all, but like, some of the stuff to put in perspective is like when you have that kind of, like when you grow up in foster care and, your father passes recently, like, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too. Like when you just don't like some shit, there's sometimes where you're fed up to the point where you're like, I don't give a fuck about, like, you cannot change my mind on this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's where he's at right now, and that's where Pat Riley is now. And I think with Jimmy probably going through foster care, like that's probably his defense mechanism is to run when he feels like he's overstayed his welcome. And I think for him, he has a right to be hurt in some senses because, like you said, like his catalog with the Heat is like kind of stamped given like the talent he's had. He didn't have LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh. Mm-hmm. The teams he took to the finals, he damn near took, I ain't gonna say single-handedly, but pretty damn close to it. Like Bram was rising when they got there. He wasn't what he is now. So I think he had a right to say what he said initially when he was like, oh, well, if the Celtics, and that was him just jawing around with his friends too. It wasn't like he was like on a camera. Like I know it was his friend's camera, but still, I think Pat Riley mistook it, and I think Jimmy Butler is self-aware enough to know he was injured and he didn't really have a right to say it. But Pat, I don't know. It's a variety of things that goes into it, but I can see Jimmy Butler's track record just as a fan and be like, when he like is fed up with some shit.
He checks out.
He's done it. He's done it. He wants to move on, and that probably stems back from like some instabilities that you may have had, and it's like I don't know. I get where he's coming from because I'm like that too with some things. Obviously not to this level, but like when you feel like you've overstayed your welcome and people don't want you there after you felt like you went so hard for them, like you want to leave. I don't want to be around you. I've given you enough. It's not enough. Like I feel like he should be stamped in terms of being able to say some outlandish shit here and there, like revolved around what he said about the Celtics series. I don't think that warrants your GM to be like, shut the fuck up. Basically saying, shut the fuck up, you were injured. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
he's accomplished too much for the Heat, in my opinion, to just have some shit like thrown off the cuff like that.
That is a fact, but, and this is back to what Waldo was saying.
Right.
Dwayne Wade, Alonzo Mourning, Udonis Haslem. When I say those three names, what do you think?
I think Jimmy Butler's in that category.
As far as what?
As far as what he's done for the Heat in terms of winning,
right? The Heat, yeah.
True, but why isn't it connecting it? Because Dwayne Wade, Udonis Haslem, and Alonzo Mourning will always be good in Miami forever.
I think Jimmy's good in Miami.
Alonzo Mourning and Udonis Haslem, if you want to say what they've done for the organization, ain't even a percentage of what Jimmy and D Wade have accomplished. For the Heat.
I agree with that.
2 finals appearances for Jimmy, championships for D Wade.
Yeah.
So
Zoe got one too.
As far as winning. Yes, and Zoe too, sorry. But Udonis Haslem, glue guy who's in the organization, but even Alonzo
he's a
Mourning.
Miami guy too, though.
Facts. This is true.
The reason why it doesn't connect, though, you asked the question, is because there is no ring.
I don't even think that.
I think it's the reason, because Jimmy didn't get the ring.
I don't think that. From what I know of Pat Riley, and this is from accounts from people who've been around him, know him, and understand who he is, like a few people I know in the league that know Pat Riley and speak about Pat.
Yeah.
Pat is Pat. He's going to lead with Pat from the jump. Like, here's what it is. Miami Heat culture is Miami Heat culture for a reason, and that's because of Pat Riley.
Yep.
And to say that Pat Riley is in a position where he just don't give a fuck about Jimmy like that, to say, like, I'm the boss and you just show up to work, et cetera, I'm not going to go as far to say that, but I do think that for some time now, Jimmy has been a Heat player, but he does not really exude Heat culture, if that makes sense.
I don't.
I think on the court he does. Off the court, he has some antics and things that maybe aren't like the best way to go about things that probably do trigger Pat Riley for sure.
Exactly, because Pat Riley is a no-games type of individual.
Person.
Like a no-nonsense kind
of person. And Jimmy likes to troll,
when he
play
does the
around.
trolling thing, when he does the emo hair,
all that fit from jump is like excess attention that Pat Riley is like, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
Keep the main thing the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I'm not even mad at Pat Riley saying, bro, you was hurt, shut the fuck up, in a nicer way in the media and all that other shit, because, bro, you was hurt. Keep it quiet, because now you're involving our organization in negative conversations off of something that you're doing outside of the team.
I can't get behind that, though.
As far as, like, why not?
Because like I do this all the time in work as a boss. You do not counsel in public. You counsel in private.
Who's to say he didn't counsel in private?
No, but he put it out in the media. That was a media.
Because he was asked about it directly from the media.
I know, but you can. So when I'm in those moments, like we can have this discussion, but we can. Then the public isn't going to know the outside of. You know what I mean?
And even what he said in the media wasn't even that bad to me. If you read between the lines, then yeah. But when you say something to the effect of, well, Jimmy wasn't playing because he was injured, so I think Jimmy should be quiet. Like, that's something, like, that's more so what he said.
He said, keep your mouth shut.
Or keep your mouth shut, yeah.
Which is like
so it's like,
I'm still from the era of, like, tough love, in a sense. Like,
but you don't do it in public. That's my only issue. You could have did the same exact thing. When you're dealing with a public individual, and now I got to be answering questions off of some shit that you did that I probably don't want to have to answer, but I have to sit here doing the exit interview for the season because we just lost in the playoffs, and I'm still pissed the fuck off that we lost in the playoffs, then yeah, I'm going to be a little bit perturbed that one of my players was doing something after we lost in the playoffs that is detrimental to the culture in general. You know, that's fair.
And I think I'm not saying that Jimmy didn't have a right to go out and have a drink, didn't have a right to jump on camera and say what he said. Sure. Like, if that's how you feel, standing behind it. I've been in a situation where, damn, if I was out there, shit would have been a little bit different. You know, I know what that feels like. So I get that feeling, but I also get when the person who's responsible for the organization in general say, hey, that might not have been the best look. And if he said it in a way that was a little mean,
yeah,
bro, you're an NBA player. Like, Buzz Williams has talked to Jimmy way worse than that. I've seen it.
Yeah, but not while he's making all that money, though.
Right.
That's when it gets.
Exactly.
I know. And that's the generation.
Which is why I went back to the point of Alonzo Mourning, Dwayne Wade, and Udonis Haslem.
But Buzz wasn't talking
different character
in the media either, though, was he?
Who? Buzz would say shit about us in the media, and we sat there and ate it.
But what did he say about Jimmy Butler specifically?
I mean, I would have to go back into the records, but like I know Buzz, and I know Buzz to the core. Like Buzz ain't gonna treat you the best verbally when he's trying to get a point across.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I don't know.
If you are a person who comes from that culture and comes from that cloth, then you understand that. I bet like maybe I should have just shut the fuck up and not said that.
I get it, but
again, when it comes to success, some level of ego, and now I'm this person, so you can't talk to me like that, or I'm gonna check out.
I don't think
that is where I
don't think it's a me thing, like him direct. I think it's more like, yo, I did all this for this organization. And this is the animosity I get over one line.
Sure,
that's probably like how I would view it.
But how you respond to that line,
you should be able to get past it for sure.
I think that is one issue that sparked everything. I think in the offseason.
That's where the alpha personalities come in, though.
From what we've seen, this is right around the time when his father might have started going through health issues and all that shit. So all the combination of those things does make you not process emotions, or makes you process emotions differently. So I will say that I think all of that might be a like mixture in the pot of all of this, but I don't think Pat Riley's wrong for saying like, bro, like you wasn't out there, so just don't speak on it, you know, or just keep your mouth shut. So from there to then still having injury issues to where you can't play. And it's not the first time Jimmy had injury issues as a Miami Heat player.
Yeah.
So coming into a situation to where it's your contract year, you're not in the best position with the team because y'all didn't win, you was injured,
get the contract,
et cetera, et cetera. No, I'm not giving you a fucking extension. That's just business.
Because you're getting older. You're getting a little older too.
But
you're getting older. That's just business.
Haven't we always operated from you put your dues in, and you do your part, and we'll extend you out based off of the years.
But that also goes to what I said last week about the relationships that you create with people who are responsible for your quote-unquote success or financial, like, you know, if you're not putting yourself in the best light for someone you're about to ask for a check from, then for me, it's like you can't be mad if you don't get the check. Or you can be mad, but just understand that, you know, it might be a situation where you got to go get the check somewhere else.
It's business
first. It's business first for Pat Riley until he feels like you have bought into the culture enough to say, I bet, like, you one of us now, so you good, you know? And winning for the team is one thing. There's been a lot of stories about people in the league who've done great things on the court, and then in the locker rooms, we looking like, this motherfucker's a piece of shit, or nobody around here fucked with him like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jimmy's in that position, but I'm just saying, if you've done those kind of things for a team, why hasn't it connected to where you get that on the back end? Klay Thompson, shit, we just talked about Klay.
But again, that's another excuse. Like, to me, it's not about that no more. I think these I keep saying this, these billionaires don't care about you. They don't care. Because Klay, you can't tell me he didn't buy into Golden State culture.
No doubt.
You can't tell me he hasn't been there for the team.
But Klay
you can't tell me he doesn't shoot the lights out still. You can't tell me he's still not a valuable asset to the team, and they still shitted on him. And I'm just saying, in terms of where Jimmy's at, I'm not saying that Jimmy is not more problematic than Klay. I'll even give you that.
He's easily more problematic than Klay.
But they still treated Klay like that. So what you think they're gonna do to Jimmy? I feel like as soon as you get to a certain year or age, if you're not LeBron James, they're not giving you an extension.
Right. And if you know that,
but what I'm saying is,
keep it cute until you get your check.
Is crazy.
Like keep it cute until you get your check, and then from there, like do what you got to do. I'm not saying Jimmy doesn't have a right to feel whatever he feels.
Yeah.
The therapists always tell you feelings are valid. So whatever he's going through to feel the way he feels, to where he does not have joy playing for the Miami Heat organization. To me, like, and maybe my expectations and ego and all that stuff isn't that high. I'm not a multimillionaire, so I don't know what it's like to be in a position where I don't think you should talk to me like that because I'm this person. Like, so I operate from a perspective of treat everyone the same and just like keep it humble and keep it like, you know, again, keep it solid with everyone.
Yeah.
So that's just me. If I'm living in Miami, as much as I love being in fucking Miami, if I'm living in Miami, doing well in Miami and playing for an organization that has that kind of like cachet within the league and just like I'm keeping it cute. Like
keeping it cute is crazy.
But
the taxes in Florida is very forgiving.
I just feel like he earned the right to say what he said. Talking about Jimmy Butler, he earned the right to say what he said, and I think Pat Riley earned the right to say what he said too. But when you have two alpha personalities that take things personal, rightfully so, we all do. That's where it gets sticky.
I mean,
but let's see where Miami lands.
But as a fan, though, like I want to see him thrive wherever. I would love to see him go back to Philly.
And they're not playing that bad.
Literally, no, they're not.
They're above 500.
You want him in Philly, don't you?
Yeah, I would love to see him come back.
He thought he never should have left Philly.
Never,
Tobias
bro.
Harris is his
literally the one that got away, bro. Like to this day, I say it to him all the time, every year. The first game he played in Philly, coming back from Miami, we were there.
Yeah, we was there.
Like it was heartbreaking. Like I loved his game. I loved his grit. It fit the city. The trolling stuff even fit a little bit. But I want to see him thrive wherever he is.
I don't even mind so much the trolling. Like the trolling is like, dude, you want to be emo Jimmy? Cool.
Yeah,
like I know, like some people just like that attention.
Yeah,
and that is what it is.
Let's forget. Let's not forget. Basketball is a game. You're supposed to play it.
Yeah,
have fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see stiff robots on the court. I want to see people who are animated.
That's why I like them. Energy. Like even the Tobias Harris over. Like I was like, you're fucking right, you asshole. Like you are right. Like as a Philly fan, I was like, yeah, we all fucking felt it and thought it. He said it. You know what I mean?
All I'm saying is if you are a Chicago, like, because he played with D Rose too. Going back to the whole D Rose thing, he was there with D Rose early in his career. You know, I remember getting my ass smacked in the chest by fucking Joakim Noah when we was out partying one night and being like, "Yo, this motherfucker's hands is big and heavy as hell. Like this nigga almost broke my fucking clavicle or whatever you want to call me. From how hard he smacked me and just like gave me love.
What's up, man?
Yeah, exactly. That type of shit. Heavy ass hand, smack me in the middle of the chest in the club. Yo, pop, boom, and smack me in my shit. You know, and this is going back to because Joakim played for the same AAU team as me, so we had a little bit of a prior rapport to him. But then when he seen me with Jimmy, and he was fucking with Jimmy, that was his man. He was just so like much giving love to everybody that was with Jimmy. Yo, smack me in my chest. So I do remember those days early on, and who Jimmy was then to who Jimmy is now.
Right.
And I'm not saying that with success doesn't come a different person.
Yeah.
I just do think that certain people's success changes the individual.
Yeah, it can.
And I think that there may be some of that with him.
Okay.
You know?
That's fair.
And again, I'm being 100% respectful because I'm not a hater. Like, even after we fell out and, you know, he went on to have his success, I was, that's Marquette. Like, that's fam.
We used to always talk about it.
You know
always talk about, like, look how good he's doing and stuff. I remember you used to tell me.
You know? And this is before we even know this was going to be a topic. Like, I've had conversations with this nigga, a lot of people, like, about, like, Jimmy and how happy I'm seeing, like, seeing him be who he is. You know? Everybody I play with Marquette. Steve Novak, happy for him. Fucking Wesley Matthews, my dog still, happy for him. Like, anybody who achieved that level of success from, like, my family tree as far as the basketball, like, thing, and this is going back to even high school.
Yeah.
Like, Lance Thomas when I played with him. Corey Stokes when I played. Anytime anybody I play with that we, like, share the same, like, blood, sweat, and tears again for a team, like, I want to see you do good things and be successful. Like, that's just me to the core, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But I also am real enough to say, like, some people will be changing a little bit.
Facts.
You know? And from my perspective, as Jimmy's ascended, I think that the person disconnects from some people, you know? And I think we see that in some of the way his career is going. Like, literally. Like, you know, again, you're in Chicago, you go to Minnesota, you unhappy out there, you force your way off the team, literally. Like, make yourself that much of a, like, disruption that you're like, I'm out of here. Like, we haven't seen much like that in the league, the way that whole situation went. And everyone's like, oh, Jimmy's just a real one. Jimmy's just a real one, whatever. And yeah, Jimmy is a real one in a lot of ways, but when you are the disruptor in the big cog of everything,
team dynamic,
they're gonna get rid of your ass at some point if you're too much of a distraction. So my thing is just be mindful because your time might be running out when you, again, on the latter half of your career, and then you're still being the disruption that, you know, isn't necessarily good for the culture of the organization that you're playing for.
Margin for error is shrinking.
Yeah. So for me, that's it. And, hopefully he can go somewhere, play, because I still think he offers value to a team.
Yeah, I think he should go.
Some of my niggas say he should be going to Phoenix. Like
Philly, bro.
What about Lakers? How about them?
It depends on who gets him. The Heat not going to take a stick of bubble gum and fucking, like, they want value for Jimmy.
I say we give him Max Christie and maybe what?
You got to go a lot heavier.
You got to throw Rui, Christie, Vanderbilt, probably Austin Reeves.
Yeah, we ain't giving up AR-15. We keep AR.
Then you're not getting Jimmy.
We keep AR. We don't give him.
You're not getting the person that took us to 2 finals and now wants out.
Well, hold on. We'll give him. Who else? Who else is available?
The Lakers are the kings of giving away nothing for something.
And then like, still being trash.
Yes, all the time.
Bronny James. We'll give him a good Bronny James.
You want to talk about another nigga you want to piss off and he going to lose his joy as soon as you trade Bronny James? Yeah, nah, that's never
hopefully, like you said, hopefully he ends up somewhere productive.
Bronny James in Miami.
I hope he does, man, because, again, I wish Jimmy nothing but the best in his life as a person. I wish him happiness, success, all that. I just hate to see people disrupt their way out of the bag. And sometimes you got a bag enough to where it's like, fuck it. I don't like the money ain't the issue. Yeah. James Harden, I was saying the same thing about him when he was Daryl Morey's a liar, whatever. And if Daryl Morey's a liar, then he's a liar. Call it out if you feel that strong about it. But for me, it don't always go well when you disrupt the fuck out of like organizations to where the word carries around the league. We getting you out of here.
Yep.
You're blackballed in the league. Nobody's picking you up. Go play overseas. Like that kind of shit.
Seen what we need to see. That's what happened with Dwight Howard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened with DeMarcus Cousins, too.
They get a lot. Exactly. DeMarcus Cousins was a perennial all-star talent player.
Yeah.
And he's playing in the Philippines or whatever the fuck he was both playing roles for.
Taiwan.
Come on, man. They'll get your ass out of there if you do not follow suit. And I think sometimes egos get in the way to where it's like, shit ain't that big of a deal.
That's what I'm saying.
You're making too much money, and it's not to say money is everything, because again, personal life does matter, and your personal, who you are as a core also matters. So I'm not saying that money is the key to everything, but you're making too much money to play a game with millions of people watching you, and it don't always got to be that deep. Sometimes you're just going through a rough patch, stick it out, stay with the organization, and then you'll see success on the other side. Every day ain't going to be sunshine and rainbows. Look at fucking Kobe. How many times Kobe wanted to leave the Lakers?
Yep. Wanted to get traded to the Bulls at one point.
Stuck it out. Stayed.
AI almost
because I'm sure if Kobe wanted to force his hand and get the fuck off the Lakers, he could have followed through with that shit.
Yeah.
Same with Iverson the first go around.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Great players want to leave at some point if they don't feel like the organization is suiting them. After 2 finals in the past 5-6 years?
4 or 5 years.
Where you going after I've been all these other places in the league?
That's fair.
Where you going?
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're just going to be ship jumping and chip chasing and all that shit. You build something good there, stick it out, and then just play ball. But again,
it takes 2 to tango,
it's above my pay grade, so I don't,
above my pay grade is crazy.
But
I'm excited to see what
best
happens.
Best to everybody. I'm assuming trade is coming at some point, so we'll see how that lands. But that's just my perspective. And again, with the prior, relationship and history, I have a different perspective on all of it. So that's that.
Wishing him well either way, wherever he ends up.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Best of luck. Grieve,
Oh,
heal.
Yeah,
because
That's a big one.
that's the biggest part of this whole thing. You know, because that's a big hit in the midst of a tumultuous situation professionally. So
most definitely.
yeah,
I agree. Grief is everybody grieves different.
no doubt, no doubt. I guess keeping it league because you had an interesting topic you wanted to throw out there, and I'm here for it because I'll probably fuck with you on your opinion on this one. So you can roll it out if you want.
Yeah. So we were talking about basically with the new year hitting, and I feel like this is just a start, and it's gonna be like this all year. But there's been a few 50-point performances already, a couple 40-point performances, and we were just kind of talking about, like, are these large scoring games kind of watered down at this point? Just because of, the way the game's played, you can't touch people, the 3-point shot and, people getting fouled, going to the free throw line 20, 25 times for the 57-point. So it just creates, like, the dialogue is, like, are these big scoring nights watered down because, obviously when I first started getting into basketball heavily, like they were a rarity. Like you get maybe a handful out of the year.
You scored 30, you did something.
There was only maybe like 4 or 5 players when I watched that were even capable of maybe AI, Kobe, T-Mac, Shaq if he's hitting his free throws.
Shaq.
And Vince Carter too. Not a lot like Baron Davis was super good, but I didn't really expect him to ever go off for 50.
It wasn't a lot of
B Diddy was that dude, which is probably a bad nickname now, but Baron Davis was that dude. But
I wonder how you feel about all that.
Yeah. But there's only a handful of like players back then, whereas now there's probably a good 15 to 20 people that could get 50. So far we've got Ant had a 53. Who else did I say had a 50?
This year had a 50.
Somebody else had. CJ McCollum had a 50.
This year only. Sorry.
Yeah. So this calendar year. I'm sorry. So we're only a few days into the year.
Facts.
And then we had Victor drop a 40 piece. Kate Cunningham drop a 40 piece. Jokic had a 40 piece and some numbers. So I just know when we were growing up watching in the early 2000s, it wasn't as common as it is now. And we were talking about just random players that even get off and get these high 30, 40, even 50s, and it's just a lot of random, like there weren't a lot of random people doing that when we were watching growing up. So the question originally is do you think it's watered down now with how common it is for 50 pieces to occur?
Facts. I agree. Like it's a lot of this shit now, and it's not to say that 50 in the league isn't a feat.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, sure,
but it's not appreciated like it used to be.
Nah, it ain't. It's happening too frequently.
It is. Yeah.
I don't want to see every week somebody got 50.
It's the new triple. It's kind of becoming the new triple double.
And even what I said the last pod when I talked about the Knicks having 4 people that score 40 within even that to me is like it's nuts. That's why I said I know the stat is watered down, but I'm here for it because it's the Knicks.
Yeah.
Even that in general is like crazy to me. Like how 4 people on one team score 40 before half the season is over.
Can you imagine if Iverson had 3 teammates that could potentially get 40?
In that era, like Iverson would have had 6 chips. Like, for real.
Big time.
Like
it'd have been fire.
But, to me now the way the game is played is just so free and open and just like it's just anybody who can put the ball in the basket is capable of getting 30 at least. If you put the ball in the basket and you are one of the top 2 to 3 players on on your team, you probably can get 40. Like if you're the franchise player on your team and you can put the ball in the basket, you're probably going to scratch close to 50 at some point in the season.
Yeah.
Like we just talking about the first calendar year days that we've had, but 50's been all over the league so far this year.
Yeah.
Like we got LaMelo with a 50. I
was gonna say him.
Like we
Donovan
Mitchell. Luka 50, like it's so many 50-point games that we've seen so far already. It's just like the 50 is that shit don't really mean much anymore. Like
even when Embiid got 70, I was like, oh my gosh, last year. And then like 2 days later, Cat was like right there and like hunting for it.
I knew he was in a bad space when years ago Devin Booker had like 70
and he lost to the Celtics. Yeah, 71. Yeah, 71.
I knew he was in a bad space from then. I'm like, this is craziness. What's going on out here?
Can you imagine being the guy that drops that much
and lose
after the game? I'm snapping on everybody.
Like and lose?
Like you took number one, you took my moment. Number 2, we lost the game. Like, yeah, it's bad news. But I'm with you. I think it's watered down just in the sense of everybody's doing it. And it's not even the stars that do it. It's like random people that do it. There was somebody last year who had one. I think it was somebody on the Raptors. Some random dude on the Raptors had a 50 ball last year, and it wasn't Terrence Ross.
Yeah, I'm blanking.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Matt Flynn. Is that his name? Matt Flynn?
Matt Flynn.
Oh,
is it Matt Flynn? Somebody super random had a 50 piece last year or 40, something like that.
I gotta do some research on that one.
We have to look it up. I ain't saying you're wrong. I don't remember it, but I probably believe it just because of the way the game is now. Like, it's very watered down.
It is. Like I know CJ's like an elite scorer, but I didn't even see him get like
I wouldn't
a 50
even call
piece.
CJ an elite scorer.
Elite in consistency. Like he'll definitely get you 20. He ain't gonna have these 6-point games. He'll definitely get you around 20.
He can put the ball in the basket.
Not above 35 though. But 20 to 35, he's any night.
In the basket.
Any night.
No shade to CJ. I ain't saying that, but
offensively,
in general,
he's a scorer.
It's just too much. Like it's just overload at this point with just baskets and baskets and baskets, and then everybody's now trying to figure out how to fix the league. And I forget who it was. Damn, who said they proposed that the NBA put a limit on how many threes you could shoot a game.
Malachi Flynn is who I was thinking of, and I was wrong. So I apologize. But there was a random 50 ball last year. I can't remember who had it.
So is that bad to have a limit? Because the issue is too many threes. So if we do a cap of threes per team, then
I'm not here for that just because we've never seen that in basketball, so I don't know how that shit's actually going to look. And there's so much changing so quickly, and it's changing for the negative, some changing for the positive. So it's like just it's a bad spot right now for basketball in general.
I like the idea because at some point you can still take the three if you want to take it, but then it becomes the value of a 2-pointer.
But then what happens when that's the open shot, and we've shot your limited threes for the game?
You're now shooting 2-pointers.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you open, and I'm gonna play off you, and all I'm gonna give you is a 3-pointer.
It was Malachi.
You're gonna give me a open 2
last year.
Word, I ain't remember.
You're gonna give me an open 2?
I can close out on you on the 2. If I know your 3-point shot, like rather than closing hard and making you have to drive the ball, if you get to the limit of say you can shoot 23s per game and that's it, and then you catch the ball on the wing the shit's coming across and you are the one in the corner catching that shit, and I'm closing out on you in defense, it changes how I'm guarding you. Like I'm not closing out hard. Take the 3. It's not gonna count. It's like what happens when?
No. I'm saying it counts as 2. It's still a shot. It goes to the old basketball.
I didn't look
rules
into the whole rule of what he was proposing.
That's what I was
for me to even have that be a solution was like we in a shitty spot.
And I know. I'm just trying to figure out a way to fix it.
Which I was saying, like even fuck the NBA right now. This should go all the way down into the high school and college level. Like all these players making so much money. The coaches like quitting now because of the NIL shit, and then. Like just basketball in general is in a nasty ass space right now.
Yeah, it's
in the States. It's in a nasty space. The stock on the league is down, like we talked about.
Yeah,
the college players is making so much money. VCU just came out yesterday and said they was going to pay each person on the team $368,000 or some shit like that, just to like say we're the first university to say we're going to pay our players. Like that whole NIL, because where you get NIL money from. Is a longer conversation that we ain't got time for right now. But VCU said, fuck it, we're going to pay our players directly like that.
Yeah, would you rather them not get paid?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way basketball is right now with everything in the pot.
It's changing too fast where we can't adapt. Exactly. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error.
It's too fast. It's too much money getting thrown out. The players who are making this money early enough
get to a bag.
Don't even have fully developed brain cells to make proper decisions.
That's
and all
fair.
That shit. So all of it to me is like putting the sport in a negative space.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look or feel good to be like in the basketball brotherhood right now, just because of everything.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, and get your money again. Get your money. I'm all with respect to like financial empowerment from the work and the sweat that you put out there, but there has to be some level of accountability as a player. There has to be some level of accountability from the organizations or the teams and all that like are putting the money out, or like the ones who are supposed to be protecting these players in some kind of way. Like there has to be accountability all around, and I don't think there's enough of it, and everyone doesn't know what to do as far as how the game's being played. Everybody doesn't know what to do as far as the business of the game, and it's just in a very weird fucking space, and it feels like almost like cringy a little bit because nobody knows what the fuck to do to fix it, but everybody is just for everything that's happening. So much exposure, so much money, so much this, so much that, and then like and so many threes on top of that. So all of it so together is like what the fuck is really going on?
4-3.
And again, I hate to sound like the old hater in the room and like, oh nigga, you missed your generation. Whatever.
Yeah, you ain't get them checks. You ain't get them NIL deals, man.
Full transparency, hell yeah, I'm a little bit mad that I didn't get it back at that point. Is it to the point where I'm resentful of the young guys? No, because again, I love to see niggas getting money.
Right, but we don't want to see the integrity be stripped of the sport.
The integrity for the game
and the love and the passion and the beauty of the game is being.
Whose fault is that?
Everybody's fault.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a variety.
It's everybody's fault.
I mean that absolves
everybody's
fault. So what's the solution? If we all got problems,
I just said nobody has solutions.
Yeah, it's just moving too fast. So we get some data under our belt. Like look what the portal's done. Like
exactly.
Look what the portal's done, and now you bringing in money and like the portal's gonna be even crazier.
We have players. Coaches quitting because they have Final Four teams, and then niggas enter the portal the year right after the Final Four.
Right.
Like, imagine that. I'm a coach, and we get to the highest pinnacle of college basketball.
Full of sophomores.
Right.
Full of sophomores, and then
players who are coming back. I'm not losing my whole team.
Another run. Yep.
I'm not losing my whole team. You can come back and play next year. Oh, I'm out, coach. Portal.
Yep.
To the point where he's asking them like, yo, and we're speaking about Miami's coach who just left. So he's
Larinaga?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He was one of the ones who was really, really digging into the portal.
Out.
Damn, to you?
Out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And said it during his interview, said, listen, like, I'm amazed that we had a Final Four run, and the first meeting I had with the team after, 8 players entered the portal.
Facts.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
They've taken ownership of their careers, their lives.
Bet. Well, go somewhere else and see how that shit's pan out for
That's
you.
what they are prerogative.
Go somewhere else and see how that shit pan out for you.
I'm always going to be in support of the players.
Not when the players is moving stupid.
I don't. Let me land. I'm just saying this. Like, for the longest time, the coaches was getting millions of dollars. The schools are getting millions of dollars. Everybody's getting millions of dollars, and now
are not getting millions of dollars.
Yeah, what do you think that tuition costs? They're not getting millions of dollars from them students.
A lot of D1s, their athletics are not profitable.
No, I'm not talking about the athletics. I'm talking about the schools. Every time you go to the school and you watch the games, you got to pay for the snacks. You got to pay. There's money in that. There's money in the tuition for every student that goes to that school.
Sure,
there's
but
money.
That doesn't necessarily affect that. That doesn't necessarily go to athletics.
It all ties in though. To me,
it don't tie in if it's like if I go to school and
if you're looking at the school from a business as the entity of the college itself is a business. You think that the schools that have better athletic programs and better, the more notoriety because they're a championship school, don't get more students going there, don't have more people knowing about that college to go pay that tuition. I'm not saying that the deciding factor is because the school has a championship ring is the one thing that I need to know to make sure I'm going to go to that school. No, but it all plays into a role. Is your school
the campus life?
Is your school that school to go to? Is it lit? And the athletics and all of that tie into the school selling the tuition to you for $200,000 a year for you to get your general studies degree and live on a dorm. You know what I mean? All of it's tied in. And I'm just looking at it from that perspective. And I'm like, okay, for the one time in the history of this entire dichotomy of education and athletics and money and all this mixture of capitalism, now that players have the power to do something about their future, get the money and get the bag and make changes for their family at the age of college, if instead of being that elite few that can go overseas and play or can go over into the NBA, G League, things like that, now they get to that bread in college. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, it's disrupting. Yes, it's making things different, but it should have never been this way. It should have always been in the power of the people. And because we valued it the other way for so long, now it's a problem? No. Let them young boys get that money. Let them young families get opportunities. Let them get some, opportunities beyond just the norm. It's going to open more opportunities for...
No, it's not. That's the problem.
I ain't even finished the sentence.
I know what you're going to say. It's going to open more opportunities for the people behind them and all that. It's going to change to where it's worse for the people behind them.
I wasn't going to say that.
Go ahead and finish, because whatever you're about to say, I don't think it's going to be a positive outcome for anything basketball related until shit get fixed.
It's going to open more opportunities for even other sports to get more money flowing into it, right? I've seen new sports get created. I saw two dudes fighting in a car doing like a MMA in the car. You ever seen that joint with the seatbelts and all that? What I'm saying is there's going to be change. We shouldn't be afraid of it. We should be working within the winds of change to find our way to get our ourselves in there. You know what? Maybe we need to do an EFS partnership with some of these colleges to get these kids the proper knowledge and understanding of how to deal with the money, how to make sure they deal with the public image. All of that. There's more lanes that can be opening up for a lot more people.
All that is cool. I'm saying, like, as far as like creating opportunity for other people, one, I don't think is that like sweet as far as what you're saying. All I'm saying is, in general, like, the problem is where we at right now. There's no real understanding of what the fuck needs to be done to keep people in line. Like, and when you let and not even just make it sound like that, but the saying is, like, when you let the inmates run the asylum, like, shit get fucked up. Right. You letting people who don't, again, these young men don't have fully developed brain cells. Yeah. I'm not saying I am against the portal. I'm not saying I'm against players getting paid.
Right.
Yes, get your money,
but
when you ruin the integrity of the game, it makes it shitty for people behind you because.
But how is that ruined? How is it ruined?
We just talked about it.
You just said that they went to the portal after the Final Four.
You're ruining the integrity of your university when that happens all across the board to where players are just jumping shit because
there's more money here.
There's money here. Oh, the coach didn't talk to me right, so now I'm out. Oh, I'm too soft and I can't handle the heat of having a bad season in this university to bust my ass over the summertime and get better as a player to then come back and make myself the player that I want to be.
Is that the assumption we're making about these players?
Yes. I'm making an assumption enough to say that's the decision some of these young niggas is making.
I'll give you a prime example. The kid from Michigan, Hunter Dickinson. Very productive.
Yes.
Michigan. I think they had a very good run.
Yes.
And then they had a down year the next year. And peace.
I'm out.
He's at Kansas. Right when he gets to Kansas, I see him with a damn near Drake-like chain. That's the shit I don't want to see.
Why?
I don't want to see people
because
I don't want to see people transfer. That's a corny reason to transfer.
Transferring because I couldn't cut it is nasty to me.
Right.
Wait. Did he say that he couldn't
transferring
cut it?
Because
or is
I
he
couldn't
just like,
cut it is nasty
bag.
to me.
I'm gonna get to this bag over here.
Right, but getting to the bag and competing, that's a problem for people like me that love the game because you're not staying and seeing shit through. You're leaving for money. That's not what college sports is about. College sports isn't supposed to be this this dick swinging contest with money and all that.
When you can get money at the school you at.
Right.
Everybody can get money in college right now.
That's what I've been seeing.
There is greed, there's entitlement, and there's a whole bunch of just no accountability on the player side right now. And that's my main issue.
And with the sponsorship too, like I don't know this for sure, but just speculation. Like when you get these sponsors and your star players missing practice to go to a photo shoot for fucking Nike. Like, that's a problem in college sports. I don't want to deal with that shit as a college coach.
That's fair.
That's where
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I hear those aspects too. I just think that there's got to be balance. Obviously, this is all new to a lot of people.
That's why there's gonna be trial and error.
So there's gonna have to be some growing pains in this process, whether that's limiting the amount of transfers you can do in your college years or how many times you can or how quickly after a season ends you can go into the portal. There may be some parameters we can put on it to make it a little bit more structured. But I'm still on the side of at any given point when back in the day, if something happened to you and it was like, oh, you're injured, what were they going to give you for the rest of those years?
At Marquette?
Yeah.
They was going to take care of you.
Yeah, if
God forbid if something happened to me at Marquette University while I was playing for them,
they were gonna cover all your medical.
Yes, my medical expenses was covered. I'm so stupid, and I'm gonna tell you how silly I was when I first got there. I played my whole freshman year without contacts because a nigga from the hood didn't realize that the school was going to cover my vision insurance. And say like, yo, I need to go to the eye doctor and all that shit. Just because, and they didn't realize I even wore contacts. So I'm just going out there my whole freshman year, no contacts, because I'm like, shit, I can't afford this shit. My family can't afford this shit. So I'm just gonna be blind out here for a whole fucking season. Until
how about your room and board for the remainder of the time while you're injured?
Covered.
So that's taking care of you.
That's like pretty much standard. So that's like the baseline of like. I'm playing for university. You got to take care of me.
I know, but when you're not playing, when you're injured, you're out of it.
I've had people on my team who had injuries that had them out for a while, and it was still good. It was still fine.
They were still good. When's that cutoff end? When the season ends? When the first year of your college career is up? How long can you be injured? How long can
NCAA contracts are year to year.
What can your wallet? What's in your wallet? Right? Are you? They're gonna pay for all your meals too?
I didn't have to worry about anything.
I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say is the layers of what's expected of a player to be dedicated for that year, you're covered. But there's years after that. And there's moments after that. And there's things outside of that. If you got to take care of something with your family or your cousin or your niece and nephew, like there's layers to this. So I'm not going to sit here and say a player shouldn't go out and get after the most money they can get in this window of time when they have that they're using your likeness, they're selling you're using your physical strength, energy, sweat, and tears on the court to make and sell advertising dollars for CBS.
All that cool.
We get that.
Yes, I understand that.
But
and I'm going to even tell you how solid my university was, because I was trying to say this before. If I was to suffer death at Marquette, my family, we had insurance policies to where my family would receive financial compensation for that. As at every university, no.
Right.
So I'm not saying every university operates that way, but again, when you're in a good situation,
that's fair.
Yeah,
stick it out. Yeah. Like I told you, I've been vocal and open and honest on here. I thought about transferring Marquette at least 2 to 3 times, maybe in full, 3 times. Like, well, I'm like, fuck it, I'm out. Like, I'm done. But then I look at the landscape, I'm like, I got all these things that I just told you.
Yep.
I don't know what it's going to be like over there.
You don't.
Because someone else could sell me a dream and say, you come over here, you're going to start. We're going to give you 15 shots a game, blah, blah. I don't know none of that shit. Mm-hmm. I know right now I'm in a good situation, and right now maybe I'm not up to the standard of what I expect for myself.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So let me bust my ass to where from sophomore year going into junior year, I cut weight. I got in better shape. I did all the things. It's like, let me try to maximize my own career first before I say, fuck it. Like, I'm going to just jump ship. You know, or just transfer, or just, someone else is going to offer me $50,000 more than what I have right now at this university, so I'm going to go over there. And then you go over there and things may not be the same.
Right.
You know? So for
it might be better. Who knows?
It could be better. I'm not saying, again, I'm not against the transfer portal. I'm not. I know it sounds like from everything I'm saying that I'm saying, like, we shouldn't do that shit, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying there should be some level of accountability on the players right now and in society, because it bleeds through society outside of just basketball and athletics.
It does.
Like, people in general nowadays are soft and not accountable for a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. You know, we see it in the freaking workforce when the numbers come out that millennials are getting fired or quitting their job at a certain amount of time, like before it's like a year or some shit like that. Yeah. Like, the numbers were staggering about, like, generationally how long you last in companies.
Oh, yeah. I can't keep.
These are the same people that dribbling basketballs up and down the court. This is the same quarterback who's throwing footballs at so-and-so university. Like, people in general are just in a space where we are not tough and we are not accountable. So when you add that to multi-millions, billions, and all that shit of dollars getting pumped into an industry, and then you have no rules, no real rules to really regulate all that shit, it turns into a fucking, like, the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, and that's what it's become.
That's why, as a coach who's seen this shit for 15, 20 years or longer, like, you're like, what the fuck is going on in front of me? My nigga, I just made the Final Four.
Right. Like, and I got a bunch of 19-year-olds turning their back on me.
As a coach, I'm puffing my chest out. Like, we did that shit.
Right.
Run it back again. All y'all coming back. Well, let's get better. Let's really work hard. And let's come back next year and we're going to be right back to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, maybe not. But you got a good shot.
So what I think, I mean, the only way I can see an adjustment is if the contracts have to be rewritten to have these players here for 2 years. They got to
do something, man. That's why I'm not mad at what VCU did, just because VCU stepped up and said, fuck it, we going to play the players.
Straight up.
So now I think that VCU can... I'm not sure about all the rules. I don't know every single rules in the documents of NCAA transfer portal.
They just want to keep it in-house.
But I'm hoping that once schools start directly paying players, which should have been the case from the jump, that they can have a little bit more say in what happens as far as the investment that they're making.
Right.
Exactly.
Just like in the league.
Yep.
Right.
Like,
just like in the league.
You can't leave before XY date and its contract and all the other shit.
You're a contracted player.
We need at least 18 months or you're not getting
notice.
This much of the money that we say we're going to give
But
you. There's incentives. There's all that other kind of shit.
Make it a job.
That's why I'm not mad at what VCU did.
Right, but when you make it sponsorships from outside parties from anybody and everybody, that's where the circus comes in at.
And you can still do that, I think, if you if you so-and-so highly touted recruit coming in, Nike want to throw you a bag, all right, you can get the bag from Nike.
You can, but I'm just saying there has to be control on it. It's literally right now, whoever the fuck wants to give you money can give you money.
That's what I'm saying.
That's really what it is. And
your school get fucked.
And here's one thing I will say, as a sports management major from years ago, there's like this connotation that a lot of people think, and I'll say it, I'll say damn near 90% of college sports, the athletics do not generate revenue. They lose money.
It's a lot of schools.
The travel, the uniform.
Like, of schools
you know how much shit you got to sell to like get that money back?
Like,
it's only literally the cream of the crop that is making any money. So when we're all like, oh, the college is making, okay, that's fine. The college is making money from regular students, regular tuition.
Yep.
The athletics itself are not generating income to pay these players unless you're at UNC, like that kind of shit. These I'm even surprised you said fucking VCU. Like I'm surprised even they have the money. Like even Like, nobody in the MEAC, I'm sorry, like, all due respect, nobody in the MEAC is doing something like that. Like, they don't, MEACs are, like the HBCUs right now, how they're constructed athletically, they're not generating, like, a shitload of money where they're coming out profitable. They're putting out money for travel, scholarship. It's not gaining money. The school gets the money from the regular students. So for a lot of people, they think because I'm D1, the D1 basketball team makes all this money. No, it's an expense. It's a huge expense.
It ain't cheap.
But huge expense. In most businesses, they have a loss leader. That's their loss leader. But it pulls in people.
Right.
The more people
I know everybody that thinks because they're going D1, I should be paid. Like, the school doesn't even have it. There's literally like. Yeah, the top 5% of schools that actually have the revenue from athletics to pay the players.
And I know because I come from one of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's D2s, D3s, all negative money, negative money.
Never in my life act like at Marquette. Like, even though I felt like we should have been paid back at that point. Like, I did believe in, like, bro, we're doing a lot for this university. Again, Marquette, at that point, I'm not sure where it's at right now, but Marquette's basketball team was funding other athletic programs.
Right, and that's what it does.
Teams be broke.
Exactly.
So it ain't like a thing to say that at that time in my life, I wasn't, like, disgruntled. Like, man, we should be getting paid. Like, I'm broke. We gotta put together. We got to ante up to get a fucking bottle of Henny, that type of shit. So I do get that point of it, but I also come cut from a cloth of accountability, my nigga. Like,
we got to find balance.
That's what I'm saying. There's no balance.
Yeah.
There's too much money right now, and there's no balance and no real accountability. And I do believe in player empowerment. I'm an advocate of it. Shouts to all of that shit, but also the mentality of the player has to come into play when it comes to you being empowered, because you can be rich and you can also be a sucker at the same time. Or you can be rich, you can be a lame at the same time, or you can be rich and you can be soft at the same time. You can do all these things financially, but who are you as the core of a player and core of an athlete? Like, that's, to me, we got to get back to what that means,
exactly.
As far as being players who are tough-minded, stick things out, and then see the success from that too.
Yeah.
And everybody ain't gonna be like that. It is what it is, but it's too much of the negative right now.
And it's at the top where it's super amplified, where you're gonna see it. You know what I mean? Like the analogy I use, that guy that transferred from Michigan to Kansas was like the player of the year the next year. Like, but he was perfectly fine in Michigan. Like, it wasn't anything with the coach, or it was literally just he entered the portal and then everybody wanted him, and he left after they made a run.
I was just looking at some NIL contracts.
They're crazy.
It's crazy.
$6.2 million for Shador, $5.2 for Travis Hunter, Arch Manning $5 million.
Arch Manning's a backup.
Livy Dunn, she's
crazy.
a gymnast. She gets $4.2 million.
Yeah,
no doubt.
For her valuation.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe $2.7 million.
It's a lot of money going around.
Sellers $2.7 million.
That's really good. That's really good. But I just like Burke said. I just don't like when people transfer based off of shit like that, like in college sports, because that's not what college sports was built for.
Last point, I'm not getting hot on college to then go out there and tear up the season to then say fuck it. Like, now I'm going to enter the portal to see what my valuation is like and get it from another school.
Yeah,
like. To me, that's like, because there's pride in playing for a university.
Yeah, and the loyalty to the guy that gave you the opportunity.
Facts. Like, going back to what we just had the conversation about, like, me and Jimmy Butler played for Marquette. We bled for the same university. You know what I'm saying? Duke, the brotherhood, like, all that shit means something when you go into a program and you buy in. You know what I'm saying?
So you're
yes, you want to see success from it.
If USC offered you $1 million NIL deal when you was at Marquette, you wouldn't have up and left?
How much is Marquette offering me?
I don't know.
Then we can have a real conversation.
$250,000. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting $1 million from somewhere else that Marquette is offering me $250,000.
I'm just giving you the.
I'm gonna at least give Marquette a shot to say, yo,
match them or some come close.
I'm getting this. Like, holla at who you gotta holla at. Talk to the restaurants in the city. All the other shit.
We don't have that money. Best we could do is $500,000.
I bet I'm staying.
Okay. All right. Just want to know.
I bet I'm staying.
Got it.
I'm staying.
Got it.
Because at that point, again, if I go over there,
you're a different
I'll probably
dude,
get the mill.
You know that, right?
I'll probably get the mill. They're going to take whatever percentage off the top of that shit anyway, so I'm going to see less money than what I'm getting that they're promising from the jump.
Yeah. And now you can't show your face at Marquette ever again.
Right. Because that to me also matters.
Yeah,
I need my name to be good wherever the fuck I go. Like, my path as a player was leave teams better than when you fucking found them shits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just who I am at the core. Like, money does mean something to me, and I'm not just like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't take a fucking $1 million if someone's throwing it to me like that. But I also I like to rely a lot more on my character too.
I love that about you, man.
I'm not willing to just make moves just because this looks pretty and this looks like gaudy and like this is the next thing, the next hot thing to me. Because that's where you get in a position where you're chasing that shit all over the place.
That's how you lose your morals.
Like, you chasing that shit, and then at your core, like, who am I? You know?
Right, but then when you start moving like that, it becomes a theme, because then you face adversity after the ball stops dribbling. You got to get a regular job. Then you face adversity there. Man, fuck this job. I'm out of here. And ain't nobody offering you nothing else. But because you don't know how to handle it and deal with it and go back day to day, you have to just leave. And like, it's just
up and quit.
It's just a variety of things that could follow suit. Like Dwight, like Burke said, with your character.
My morals is different, and my path hasn't been that to where my morals have had to been tested that much. So again, I'm not making decisions because a lot of that should be above my pay grade. But from what I see, oftentimes I'm just like, that shit look a little too like jump shippy or too cloudy or like just whatever that's not solid at the core, you know?
On the flip side of Marquette, just to shout out Marquette, Cam Jones has a $1.9 million valuation.
Yeah, he getting money?
Yeah.
He getting money?
Yeah.
Shout out to Cam.
Yeah.
Player of the year candidate. Playing well. I just watched the game the other night against Creighton.
Just to tie it all together.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Marquette would have gave you the $1 million, most likely.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't Cam Jones.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Cam Jones' career, or
you got
even close
1.9.
to
You could probably get $1 million. You probably get $1 million.
Listen, man. I'm also a person that understands why I fall on the fucking totem pole too.
That's fair.
I'm being dead serious. If you average so and so and so and so, and then I'm at this point, and I'm like, I don't really like. I understand business. I'm not going to ask for a lot of shit that's outside of what I've earned, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my perspective on it. So give me $250,000 and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm good with that. If I can put myself in a position to get the mill, then again, we got to have a conversation. Yo, they want to give me a mill. What you got for me here? You know, because I want to make it work here. My intentions is to stick it out. I love the school. I love the university. I love everything we've accomplished. Me and my teammates, we rock. We like solid. We tight. I don't want to have to go nowhere else, you know? But, again, make it right for me. Yeah. And then that's where y'all got the chance to show your hands at university. Don't let me walk if I'm that kind of player.
Exactly.
You know?
Or Saquon will be in Philly, you know?
Facts.
Hey, yo.
Facts.
He's annoying, yo. You
facts.
Annoying.
So I was like, facts.
I'm good for those.
Bringing it to New York, huh?
Yeah.
You always got to bring it back to Philly sports.
We're going to get off of that, man. Just because
this
shit get too hot and tense when we start talking hoops. Like, I'm very passionate about the game of basketball.
We love the money. We just don't like the integrity being compromised.
Like, just keep the
love of the game,
main thing, man. Yeah. Keep the main thing. That's my perspective always. Moving forward to the next topic, we're going to get outside of sports with this one. This was Waldo's contribution to the topic board. Very interesting. Today, we went long. We going long as hell. So
it's
we'll try to get to it. We'll get to it. But
today officially, New York City congestion toll has taken effect. It is live and direct. And it is pissing New Yorkers off to no end because if you are moving out and about, I think it's between like 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever the case may be. I don't know the ins and outs of it exactly, but you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay them dollars in them cents. So the breakdown is it's for the Lincoln Tunnel. It's from $22 when it's non-congestion to $27.31. Holland Tunnel is the same. The Hugh L. Carey Tunnel is from $12.94 when it's not congested to $20.19.
We ain't got to do all of this. Shit expensive.
It's crazy.
This shit expensive.
It's crazy.
So we ain't going to bog y'all down with all the numbers, but they wilding in the city right now.
It's wilding.
Cost grip.
And it
costs $27 to drive into Manhattan, bottom line. I want to... $27 to drive into the city.
It's like a drive-in theater.
You know what I'm saying? Your movies is
you want to see this movie in Manhattan we got on the regular
movies
streets.
Is cheaper than that.
Don't go to the movies in Manhattan, I'm telling y'all.
So
what on top of that $27 you take to get in there.
So it's a question.
$60 popcorn.
It's a question I wanted to ask you.
Because might want your arm for a chicken tender basket.
Facts. Is this doing too much? Is this something that, you know what I mean, they are overreaching? Have we gotten to the point now where we're just trying to charge a subscription to exist.
Yeah, like now it's a lot of stuff like that now, like where it's like you think like even apps sometimes it's like you're paying for just the access of it to unlock additional stuff within the app costs money.
Exactly.
And it's like, what the heck? Like I got the app thinking everything is unlocked in it.
No.
Yeah, so
you got to pay for the access to get to the thing that you want to get to.
I'll let the New Yorkers talk about it because I don't know too much, but I know just hearing some, I'm like, Jesus, like it sounds like a lot.
We got real issues in the world. Why are we charging extra money for this right here? This seems a little excessive, but I just want to know what y'all, and I don't even know how the money is going to be used. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to get extra money, and then how's that going to help us?
Yeah.
Is it going to make the trains cleaner?
Yeah,
is
right.
The piss smell in the subway is going to stop now?
It's a staple of it at this point.
Like, are we going to have air fresheners in every stall in the bathrooms now? Because the issues in the city are still the issues.
It ain't
the
gonna
rats are going to be gone? Are they going to get rid of the rats in the city?
Whatever changed or where the money's going, it ain't going to be tangible. You already know that.
Come on, man. We doing all of this extra cost and extra spending.
I'm going to keep it 100% with y'all. I saw this shit coming a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this shit coming a long time ago. Even while I was playing overseas, coming back home, living in New York in the summers and traveling out to like Chicago in the Midwest, still going to freaking Marquette and all that other shit. Second half-ish of my career, well, actually, towards the end of the first half of my career, I was home one summer and I was in the city. And then I saw a public bathroom outside. I was in a park and I forget what the fuck park I was at, being honest, but it was in the city. It was in Manhattan. I had to pee bad coming off the train. I had to piss like a fucking racehorse. And they charged 25 cents to get in the bathroom to pee. And this was circa 2012, 13, maybe 14-ish. I can't remember the exact year. At that point, I said, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. Just even knowing at that point how expensive the city was and just being in the mix and having to pay bottle money in the clubs and just going out and enjoying yourself while I'm trying to live life as a young nigga who getting a little bit of money coming home from overseas. I'm just like, bro, like the money don't go as far. Like, I'm not making millions overseas. Like, I ain't that guy. I ain't even making 6 figures like that overseas, you know? Just really earning a living to come home. Like, this shit don't go that far out here. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I love the town. I love the city. I'm New York to the core.
Yep.
Like, so that to me is cemented, and we've seen New Yorkers relocate all over the fucking place. The shit is too fucking expensive. Like, the shit is too expensive. And you on top of each other. Like, it's like being, like, charging your arm and a leg to live in a fucking box.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that feeling, you know?
It doesn't feel good.
And not to say that it isn't just the way it is in that town. Like, big cities cost more to live in. Philly's expensive to live in. LA's expensive to live in. That's just how that shit is. But for me, it just never really made sense. So to now see it where it's at now with inflation, with everything costing more in life, they're going to fucking tax you. On top of that, I think that they're trying to re-gentrify the fucking city so that all the rich people can live in New York and all other people, the poor ones that can't really keep up, y'all got to get out.
No, like, they'll have to be there only for work.
Yeah, and commute.
Yep.
And commute. Go live in Jersey. Go live other places where your money gets a little bit further. I know people that commute to New York from here. Where we
from here. They use the train.
Yeah,
the train.
Take the Amtrak up and back every fucking
Penn
day.
Station. True.
Every fucking day. I've
Stand
taken that
clear
ride.
the closing doors,
I know
please.
I know what that ride is like. Just going up and down. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty easy. But this is people's everyday life. I'm going to the city to work and then I'm coming back home.
I know.
Or they're working remote one day or going up there 2 days out the week or some shit like that.
Because you get paid more in New York. You get paid a lot more.
Yeah, you get paid a lot more. So I take that money and go live somewhere else.
And if you don't live there, you ain't got to pay the city tax.
Exactly. Like, if I'm taking that money and I'm going to live somewhere else. I'm not commuting every fucking day up and back to New York. I will go up there pretty often. Like, I was just there a couple weeks ago. Like, I do touch the town a lot still because it's right there. It's home for me. It's a drive.
Well, you're going to be paying a lot more to go.
But even on that drive, like we said off mic, and I'm going to say it to y'all on camera, like, every time I go to New York, my Easy Pass, which has a $99 replenish limit. Y'all who got Easy Pass know how that shit works. When it gets low under a certain point, they taking that shit out your account. Every single time I go to New York, this is just in tolls, up and back, my shit replenishes.
Yep.
And that's just traveling to the city.
Yep.
You know, and that's before all that shit that you was talking about now.
Yeah.
So the congestion tolls and all that other shit, my shit is replenishing every time I go to New York and back. And they hit me over the head because all that money's getting taken.
That's why I canceled my Easy Pass.
On toll. Literally toll, bro.
You better have one because I think some of this is like you got to pay by plate. So if you don't have the Easy Pass, just don't come to New York. You'll be all right.
Shit wild,
I mean,
man.
I don't drive to New York anyway.
No, you take a bus or something?
I'll take the bus or the train or something.
Yeah.
I ain't driving.
I like to drive because I like the convenience. I don't like to have to wait on the schedule.
Exactly.
Well, you move
how you want to move.
I don't got nobody to visit out there. I'm going on some
I'm not knocking that. Like, I'll do the same shit. If I didn't like my convenience and like my freedom to just say I'm out, like even if I'm go see family, I don't want to have to wait 2 hours to get, like, I'm just out. So you can map it around a little bit better if you are just going for touristy reasons and shit like that. But me, like, I just want to get in and out, but that shit is fucking expensive.
It's very expensive.
Even to eat in the city is fucking expensive, like, and
shout out to Cornet Pizza. Them slices
I know,
still
I'm
cheap.
mad because
appreciate you, Cornet.
The bus I took last year was 10 up.
Sometimes them pizza slices is getting more expensive too.
Yeah,
had a big slice a couple times. I went to New York. I'm like, this shit costs a little bit more than it used to.
Yeah, it's
back
a couple
in the day.
dollars more, but it's still like affordable. Like I'll say.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree with everything you said. It's not even an argument. It's just me just like sharing my point too. It's just I just think that at some point there gotta be like enough money, right? Aren't we getting to like we gotta charge you an extra fee for this and there's more fees? Did you subscribe? At some point the consumerism bubble has to burst and we just like, all right, yo, here it's free. Like we gotta get to that point, right? Because what are we paying for at this point? You know what I mean? What are we doing at this point? There's got to be a point where it all turns around, right? Maybe when crypto gets to a certain level and the dollar's worthless, maybe that point.
2025, y'all. The year
I'm just tired of the whole
hustler.
The whole thing.
Get to the bag.
The whole thing is annoying.
Because this shit gonna get more expensive anyway. And that's all over the place.
Just carpool, I guess.
A lot of niggas is carpooling too. Facts. That's enough on the congestion tolls, man. Listen, just hang tough or move.
Move. Yeah, Florida.
Move. Hang tough
Miami.
or move. Like you can come right down here to Delaware. It ain't that far.
Delaware is
a lot
fine.
more for your money. I guarantee. And we ain't got no sales tax here, so
And we half hour from a lot of main cities and
you get to
hour
DC,
and a half, 2
I
hours
get to
from
Philly.
the main
I
city.
can get back home to New York easily. Like,
Baltimore.
Just,
South of Baltimore.
You can go to Philly and Baltimore in the same day if you really want to.
If you really want to.
Facts,
And double back if you really pushed it.
If you want to, if you're trying to have a wild night.
I mean, hey,
it's feasible for sure.
If you about that. But yeah, man, that's that on that. Last up, we got the real talk. I don't know what it's like. This real talk is a little, I don't know, frustration motivated or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Treat people how you want to be treated. That's like literally what the
Golden
real talk
rule.
is at. Like the golden rule in life. I can't say much. I can't expose much right now, so my shit is gonna be wild cryptic. But just treat people how you want to be treated, man. And that's all I can really say. Like the energy you put out to people can come back multifold if, with the wrong person, with the wrong mindset. So always treat people how you want to be treated, man, and just make sure that you're putting forth your best to be considerate of other individuals in most facets in life. Because you got to save yourself often, and you got to love yourself and protect yourself and all the other shit. But when you dealing with people, treat people how you want to be treated. That's all I got in the real talk today. I ain't even gonna soapbox it because we could be here for even more hours at that point.
I know, right?
Golden rule.
Yeah, that's a fact. Quote today's on True or False. What you got for us, my boy?
All right, so I usually have them on hand anyway, but one that I found that I liked a lot that I think should resonate with a lot of people is be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Who said that?
Somebody.
Yo,
I don't have the person.
Sometimes it don't be from a person.
Yeah.
A lot of times my shit don't be from a person too.
But be yourself because everyone else is taken. I think, in this world of look at me now and trends and social media, it's especially like the younger generation. I don't think, I shouldn't say that because people our age probably be
a lot of clout demons of
So,
the 30 plus.
Oscar Wilde,
trolls,
by the
all
way.
that
Oscar
stuff.
Wilde
But
is the quote.
I don't know. I always gravitate to people and just things in general that like kind of like shout originality. So I always like that quote just because like I'd never been the type to really do anything or gravitate to stuff just because it's cool and trend. Like if I genuinely don't like it myself, I'm not gonna do stuff or jump on to stuff or proclaim stuff or represent stuff. So I think it's a good message to have. Just be yourself. Just because it's a lot of people in the world, and there's always room for originality.
100%, man. That's a fact.
Thank you, Drew.
I ain't got nothing to follow up on that. That was so fire. I like that one. Close us out.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oscar
Wilde.
Okay.
Oscar
Gotcha.
Wilde, yeah.
You know, some of them shits really don't be from nobody though.
Nah, I be checking, bro. I just looked over.
I mean, you gotta just sometimes I check and it's like ain't nobody really. Like,
I just remember that one off the top of my head because I heard it a couple weeks ago. I liked it.
Nah, that's a fact.
Yeah,
dope joint. Thank you.
But as always, man, if you made it this far into the audio/visual, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love the love over here at the EFS podcast. So as we close out episode number 46. We'll tell you to be safe in this crazy world and guard yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and all things in between. And we'll be back at you next week for another episode as we push this thing close to 1 year. I gotta check for sure. I think it might even be next week. I think next week is 1 year. Yeah. I guess calendar year from, when we dropped last January to this January. I think it's next week. But I'm going to check for sure. But I'm pretty sure next week will be our 1 year anniversary. So what we'll do for that, we'll figure out. You went shiesty on?
Yeah, I went full Philly on him.
I didn't even see that shit. I looked over. This nigga looked like he's about to break in my car window or some shit. But yeah, man, we out of here. EFS Podcast, episode number 46 is out. Peace. Later.